Hello and welcome to another JoJo Master tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how I create backgrounds that are going to have movement and motion, and how I can make backgrounds bigger so that I can use them and make the motion go left or right. Let's get started. The first one I'm going to show you is just taking one of the backgrounds that's already in Create Studio. And I'm going to bring it into my canvas. And I'm going to stretch it out to this full size. Next thing I do is I'm going to stretch this out. I'm just going to make it 10 seconds just for the sake of the tutorial. And first thing I do is I'm going to duplicate this. Once it's duplicated, I go into its properties and I flip it. So now I've got two, but they're mirror images of each other. And I'm going to take the one here on top, and I'm going to move it over, and I'm going to butt it up against the original one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move them over just to make it easier to do this part here. And all you have to be careful of is to make sure that there's no seam showing here in the middle. So sometimes you have to overlap them just by a few pixels, just that there's no line showing here down the middle. Okay, now once we've got the two together the way we want them, which is the case here, I'm going to take the two of them and I'm going to group them together. And now I'm going to add the motion. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come here, I'm going to say add animation. Easy, I'm going to make it linear. And for my properties, it's just going to be position. Let's move this over a little bit. So for the first one, I want to start on the left-hand side. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to just click here. So butt it up against the left side of the screen. And then for the right, well, this is going to move over a 10-second period approximately. So we come over here, we click on this, and we butt it up against the right side now. Now you're going to see that when it runs over the 10 seconds, the screen is actually going to scroll from one side to the other. And there you go. It's as simple as that. This is the easiest way to make a scrolling background, something that you can, it has to be longer obviously than the screen, because if you want it to scroll, it has to be longer than your 1920 by 1080 or whatever screen size you're using. So you need a background that's longer. And you can get backgrounds on different places like Vecteezy, places like that, that have longer backgrounds. But if you need one just quickly that you want to do yourself, you can just do it the way I did here. You can just take one background, flip it, and then just butt them up against each other. This works great. Sometimes, though, it doesn't work. It depends on what the graphic is. I'm going to show you another one here. I'm going to delete this one, and we're going to try another one. See, this one here would probably work well. So I'm going to download this one, and I'm going to put it onto the screen here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to enlarge it. And I'm going to move it over right away so that when we duplicate it, it's already in the right place. Let's put it right up against here. Again, I'm going to go over 10 seconds just to show you. And you can make this longer if you want. But we'll just do it for 10 seconds just so I can show you how I do it. So first thing I'm going to do again is I'm going to duplicate it. Then I'm going to take it and I'm going to flip it. So I'm going to go to the properties and click the horizontal flip. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to butt it up against the other one. And I'm just going to click off for a second to make sure there's no line showing here, and there isn't. Again, I'm just going to take it and I'm going to group the two together. I'm going to add an animation. And I like to do it with add animation for this. You can do it with motion in and out, but I like to do it with the add animation. So I'm going to do easing is going to be linear. And I'm going to do position. And the same thing we did before. I'm going to click on the one here on the left. And I'm going to butt this up against the left-hand side. Stretch out the final animation. And I'm going to click to butt it up against the right-hand side. Now, when you look at this, it almost looks like you're looking at a scene in a forest. And I don't know if you noticed while it was going through, but you can kind of see a black line here. And if that's the case, that's easy to fix. All you do is go back in here, back into your group, click on the right-hand side, and just move it over a pixel or two, and that should eliminate the problem. Again, I like to leave some of the issues in so I can show you how to fix them as they're going along here. And like I said, this would make a great scene if you were maybe showing somebody who was lost in the forest, or some kind of an intro to a scene. This would be great. And you saw how quickly we did that. It took less than a minute to do. And now you have an intro, and nobody's really going to notice this here because they're not going to be looking for it. So that's how I do the first technique that I use when I want to create a background that's moving. And we're going to go in. I'm going to show you a different technique that I use as well, called the infinite repeat. And that one is a little bit different the way it works, but it also works very well. Okay, so when I was done creating the video, I noticed that I was already over 6 minutes, and I don't like making long videos. Nobody likes to sit through really long videos, so I'm going to show you the infinite repeat video in part 2. And it's definitely worth watching, especially if you have scenes that go on for a much longer length of time. You'll find that it's kind of cool the way that I do it, and I'm going to show you that in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and be on the lookout for part 2.